Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Knicks Community Podcast, now on YouTube. Tonight was the New York Knicks versus the Brooklyn Nets at MSG. The Knicks lost 116-109, and I will admit I missed a lot of the game because I had to deal with schoolwork, but I was updated by my good pals Iru from Die Hard Knicks podcast and my dad. I watched the first quarter, and I think that first quarter, you could really see how important Julius Randle is to this offense because, like I've said on my show many times before, he's really our most consistent scorer at this current moment. And he's putting up, I know it's really early in the season, but he's putting up all-star caliber numbers. He finished the night with 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. And I think that, I know we were missing a ton of shots, which is why, again, I've been saying this on multiple episodes. It just shows you why guys like Alec Burks are so important to this offense because, a big struggle with the Knicks is just scoring and consistent scoring a lot of the times because, I've said this on my shows and so many other guys' shows, as a fan, I find it really interesting to see, the highs and the lows of players' games and how they play throughout the season. And, many examples come to my mind, like RJ Barrett is a great example. He's had his moments where he's great. He's had his moments where he's also very inconsistent. Same with Immanuel Quickley, Alfred Payton, Austin Rivers. The list goes on and on. But I think that it just shows you how much of a key factor it is to have that second consistent scorer. And tonight the Knicks made a pretty solid comeback. I mean, yeah, they had Kevin Durant on the bench the majority of the end of the fourth, but or just the majority of the fourth in general. But RJ Barrett finished with 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Mitchell Robinson had a double-double tonight, 10 points, 12 rebounds. Not mad at all about that. Austin Rivers, I feel like he definitely has been struggling as of late, ever since that 12 or 14 consecutive points in the fourth. He finished the night with 8 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Alfred Payton most certainly struggled tonight, 7 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. Kevin Knox has actually been very surprising because, in that Charlotte game, he hit like 5 threes. And he really kind of brought us back a little bit. I think it was at the end of the second quarter, I believe. And I mean, this game also showed you that, he has the potential to definitely be that second consistent scorer, but we just don't know because it's so early in the season, in my opinion, at least. Emmanuel Quickley had his career high in points tonight, 19. And, I was going to screen share a video that I'm about to post on my Knicks community account on YouTube. The ticker that keeps going throughout every episode will, constantly remind you guys to go follow me on Instagram and Twitter just to, check for any Knicks updates. I've had schoolwork and tons of stuff, so the posts haven't really been as consistent, but I'm about to post a ton of stuff after this episode wraps. But Emmanuel Quickley is so interesting to me because he's had so many inconsistent games and consistent games. A great example has been as of late, he's been very inconsistent. And, he's been taking that everybody loves that famous Quickley floater, but, as of late, it hasn't really gone in. And that's a very inconsistent shot, especially for him, that I've come to learn now, because if it was so consistent, he would have made it every single game, right? Or the majority of games, which he has not. And, I was going to screen share a video that the Knicks just put out after the Brooklyn Nets game finished. Emmanuel Quickley there's a video of him. It's like 30 seconds, and he's just doing his work, putting in the work. He's doing shots mainly along the mid-range area of the basket, but yeah, Emmanuel Quickley's been so interesting to me because he's had so many up and down moments. And, there's that question, Do we start Quickley? Do we not? I'm all for starting Quickley. It's really interesting because, Elfrid Payton is the exact same because there's games where in this season where he's been extremely consistent, and he's definitely been an aggressor. Getting into the paint, really just trying to earn his shots, get to the foul line. But he's had his struggles shooting this year as well. Same with Emmanuel Quickley. So I mean, I would be very interested to see if Thibodeau would kind of maybe switch it up a couple times, see what happens when Quickley starts. And if that's not working, maybe keep Elfrid. Or just at the trade deadline, make a ton of moves, get a solid point guard. And I think that is definitely something that we need. And I mean, this isn't breaking news, but this video just came out from SNY Knicks videos on Twitter. And Tom Thibodeau was speaking about Immanuel Quickley's 19 points in the 22 minutes that he played. And Quickley came off the bench because Elfrid Payton started. And Tom Thibodeau said, quote, "He gives us something that we desperately need." This quote is so important right now because the Knicks desperately need scoring, right? So what Tom Thibodeau is basically saying there is, hey, he's giving us something that we desperately need, a spark. A way to find easy offense. Because, there's so many examples of Emmanuel Quickley just leading this offense. Whether it's whether I think it was that last preseason game against Cleveland. Yeah, you can argue it was basically against Cleveland's G League team and an injured Kevin Love who didn't play, and basically no Andre Drummond because I remember JaVale McGee starting that game and Damian Dotson, whole team. But this quote's very important because Tom Thibodeau is basically saying like, hey, Emmanuel Quickley is giving us scoring. Every single episode that I feel that I've put out on YouTube has been really just talking about how badly the Knicks need that second consistent scorer. And Tom Thibodeau is basically saying right now, hey, he's giving us something that we desperately need, meaning that he has the potential to be the next consistent scorer. And hopefully, he's putting in that work. And hopefully another Knick that I hope that is putting in the work is Obi Toppin. I know he only played 1 minute tonight, but I feel like he probably could have gotten some more minutes, maybe late down to the fourth, and just kind of see what he can do. I mean, I understand. Listen, he's coming off, I think, a strained right calf injury. So they want to ease him into the offense. I mean, that's what they're going to do with Taj Gibson as well. They're just going to ease him into this offense for sure. But that's a really important quote, I feel like, because it shows you the potential Quickley has to become the next second consistent scorer on this team besides Julius Randle. And hopefully, possibly our starting point guard. Maybe I'd be all for it. Let's go, IQ. And I'm going to just talk about the elephant in the room. Obviously, today was a big day because James Harden was traded to the Brooklyn Nets today. I'm just currently pulling up the fully updated trade details from today's massive trade. I think it's now like a 4-team deal. It's Brooklyn's involved, Houston Rockets are involved, Cavs are involved, Indiana. So 4 teams. So Brooklyn's obviously getting James Harden. Houston is getting Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, Rodions Karooks, 4 first-round picks and 4 pick swaps. Cleveland is getting Jarrett Allen and Taurean Prince. Shout out to Taurean Prince. He's actually viewed my Knicks community Instagram story multiple times, so shout out to you. I hope you have a great time on the Cavs. And Indiana's getting Karis LeVert and a second-round pick. I feel like on paper, everybody's winning. But, I was talking to my friend about this whole trade today, and, I feel like everybody maybe might have this opinion as well, that, it might just not work, this whole big three in Brooklyn, because you're dealing now with extremely high egos, right? I mean, listen, Brooklyn has already been dealing with high egos because now Kyrie Irving has missed 5 straight games. He also just violated the COVID-19 protocols because he went out partying for his sister's birthday, and he was like caught on video with no mask at like a club or something. I think Kevin Durant's worked very nicely with Brooklyn. He's worked very well with the Nets organization. He's been a very, very consistent scorer. And listen, I think James Harden and Kevin Durant will complement each other well because obviously we all know Oklahoma 2012, they went to the finals, lost against Miami. But, obviously they had Russell Westbrook on that team as well. But I just feel like, think about it. I'm going to throw a situation out there. Brooklyn is down by 2. It actually will be similar to the situation my friend threw me today. Brooklyn's down by 2. And let's say that James Harden takes a wide open 3, misses, right? Kevin Durant gets the rebound. Kyrie Irving's wide open in the corner. Kevin Durant doesn't really look. He just goes right up for a layup, misses the layup. Game ends, Brooklyn loses. What's Kyrie going to say after that game? Oh, James Harden never should have taken that shot. Also, Kevin Durant should have passed me, right? Meanwhile, James Harden will say, oh, I took a high percentage shot. I took an open look. It was a good look. I usually make those shots, so I felt pretty confident in myself. Kevin Durant is going to say, I felt that the smartest decision, right, was just to put it right back up, right, because they want to tie the game, possibly send it into overtime, whatever the minutes are left in that fourth quarter. And so I feel like you're just working with so many egos, right? And I don't know if it'll work out. I saw a really funny thing on Twitter today, and Chris Bosh's name was trending because people were wondering who out of the big 3 is going to take Chris Bosh's role. Like they're comparing it to Miami's big 3 when it was Bosh, D-Wade, and LeBron. Like who's going to be the Chris Bosh of the big 3? I thought that was really funny. And this is another Immanuel Quickley video just came out. And he says, quote, I've been doing my research and asking questions around the league before the season started. So basically he's talking about, he's just saying he knows the season is full of ups and downs and knows that the Knicks need to persevere through this season. And I think he's just getting the most advice he can because he's a rookie. He's going into a completely new situation. It's not college anymore. It's not Kentucky anymore, that's great to see. And I think that, the Knicks are, listen, am I upset with this Brooklyn game? Not at all. I thought the score was going to be way worse than it actually turned out to be, only because, I was looking at a ton of Knicks fan pages and their activities during the game because I was just trying to get so much information about what happened. With 10 minutes and 42 seconds left in the fourth, Knicks were down 97-78. Then when I saw that, I was like, oh, we're going to get destroyed. It's going to be like 120 to like 89. Something like the Hornets game, right? Gordon Hayward went off. I went into the Hornets post-game recap thoughts video with my guy Iru from Die Hard Knicks podcast. Salute to you, my guy. He's the best. And I think without him, I really I feel like I wouldn't be here, really, right? Because I mean, you guys have probably seen me on his halftime show, on his show. He's been on my show. And I feel like, without him, I wouldn't feel as comfortable as I do now, obviously, with my own YouTube platform. And yeah, so just shout out to Iru. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me. And yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode today. Let me see. Knicks play. I'll finish this off with who do I think is going to win in our next game? We're playing the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm just looking at the news for the Cavs right now to see who's going to be injured. The Cavs, like I just said before, they just got Jarrett Allen. That I feel is such an underrated part of this trade because I love Jarrett Allen. I love his game. I love his intensity. I love his aggression. He's a great block. He's a great block artist. Great in the paint. That rhymes. And I think it's going to be very interesting. I think that's a great role for him as a backup center because, one, he's dealt with it with DeAndre Jordan in Brooklyn. And now he's going to learn from literally one of the best centers in the league, Andre Drummond. I literally was about to say DeAndre Drummond. That would have been embarrassing. But I think we have a high shot at beating the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? Because Kevin Love, I feel like, is going to be out for a little bit more. I would know because he's on my fantasy team. Only guys we really have to worry about is Andre Drummond, Colin Sexton, Okoro, Jared Allen, Darius Garland. And you never know if Damian Dotson's going to go off, right? It's his old team. He might drop like 30 on us. Who knows? But I definitely will be back again doing another post-game episode, whether it's by myself or with a guest. That remains to be seen. But again, thank you guys so much for listening and tuning into this episode because it's going to be distributed on audio platforms. So whether you watch this or whether you listen to it, thank you guys so much for supporting me. I'm going to continue my best to try to just provide great Knicks content for you throughout the season and many seasons to come. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching.